Hello and welcome to Behind the Lines. I'm Diane Dayton. Today we're going to talk about the 26th annual Boscov's Berks Jazz Fest, one of the biggest and best jazz, smooth jazz, and blues festivals in the country. With us right now we have John Ernesto. You are the general manager. Thank you so much for being there.
Oh, thank you, Diane. I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're here too.
Thanks,
Gerald
always.
Beasley, jazz musician, fantastic bassist, and you've been such a big part of this festival for many, many years. Thanks for being here.
Always a pleasure.
So this year, last year was a big year with the 25th, and now the 26th. What are we going to see, hear, experience at this one?
Wow.
A lot.
It's a very diverse festival, as we always try to put together a very diverse lineup of styles of music to offer music experiences to a lot of fans. We've always believed in that, and with the help of artists like Gerald, we've been able to do a lot of different things and to present unique programs. So this year we a lot of that again, a lot of different offerings for the fans. So it's going to be a lot of surprises.
Yeah, I'm
a
sure
lot
it
of
is.
interesting things.
So mark the dates down. It is April 1st through the 10th, and it's all over Reading. You've added there's a new venue this year too.
Yeah, the DoubleTree by Hilton in Reading just opened up in December. It's a beautiful hotel in downtown Reading with a magnificent ballroom. So obviously we wanted to get that involved in the festival, create another venue. It had its challenges because obviously we just can't keep adding shows. We already are doing 50 plus ticketed events plus 100 free events. But we worked some things out this year, and the festival, the first weekend will be at the ballroom it's at 7th and Penn for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and also Friday and Saturday the second weekend. Plus they have a secondary ballroom, which we're going to be doing events in. We're doing an educational event there on Saturday, April the 2nd. Then there's going to be late night music in there. So it's going to be a lot of activity. The hotel is beautiful. It's create a lot of opportunities. There's an amphitheater. In addition to a small ballroom, there's an amphitheater, which we're going to do a lot of educational workshops, seminars during this educational event on April the 2nd.
Yeah, I really like how you combined all of that, because there's so many different experiences that you can have at a festival like this. And one of the other things that's so unique about this festival are the jams that you do. They're such signature events. And Gerald, your midnight jams that are always Friday and Saturday nights, both weekends, this year are going to be at a different location.
Yeah, we've moved the jam to Building 24 to accommodate more folks, and it's still close to the original setting for the jams. And it was always in the early years where we had it in one of the smaller venues at the Crown Plaza. We could never accommodate everybody that wanted to attend. So now we've taken it to a bigger location. We can accommodate more people and take the production up a notch. It'll really feel like a major concert, but you get the added benefit of having these artists who just stop by from their main stage shows, and you never know who's going to come by, and it's very, very exciting.
That's the beauty of this show too, because you don't know what's going to happen, and you as the ringleader of it all too are going with it too that way. The other jam is the signature event is on Thursday night. That's at 8 o'clock.
That's at the Crown Plaza, yes.
Yeah, and that one's always a sellout too.
I think it's almost sold out now, but the tickets are going real fast for that.
And Chuck Loeb and Rick Braun are the ones that coordinate that.
And Gerald they've been the musical host coordinators, musical directors over the years, and so we have a great lineup for that this year. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it certainly is. And just to tease people a little bit, of course, you've got Brian Bromberg, Norman Brown, Kurt Whalum, Jonathan Butler, Gerald Albright, Nick Coleone, Eric Marienthal. We can go on and on, right?
Yeah. It's a who's who.
Yeah, it is a who's who.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the challenges, and what Gerald and Chuck and Rick do a great job. A lot of people have a vision of a jam as everybody standing on stage and just trading off. They put together unique pairings, and they create just very unusual pairings of artists on the stage doing different styles of music, and that's what I like. Sometimes, you have 12 or 13 artists committed to do the jam, sometimes there's only a trio out there.
Absolutely.
And some of the great memories of some of the artists that have been paired up and done some things. We've done just the bass players. We've done, my classic one is Mindy Abear and and Pat Martino on the stage together.
Yeah, that's a great.
That you will not see again.
And in general, that's the beauty of it. You'll see combinations that you wouldn't see anywhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the beauty of it. Gerald, you have a great combination that first weekend, that Friday night. Tell us about your show.
Well, it's called Gerald Veasley and Friends, and in reality, these are my friends. I'm very fortunate to have some of the greatest musicians performing with me that night. Nelson Rangel on saxophone and flute, Kelly Minucci, longtime friend, on guitar, and the great Bobby Lyle on piano. And I'm just so proud to be presenting this show because there are a lot of fantastic musicians on the festival, but these are gentlemen who are really at the top of their game, and they're great composers. So it's going to be a really intimate evening. I love the Miller Center. Great acoustics.
Yep.
So it's going to be really a first-rate concert.
That'd be a great place to hear Nelson whistle too.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Bobby gets to play a beautiful 9-foot Steinway. So,
exactly.
Yeah, that's going to be a magical night too. There's a lot going on that first weekend. I mean, it's a great kickoff too because the opening show, Manhattan Transfer and Take 6.
That's a project they started last year. It's they call it the Summit, and the show starts off with Take 6 doing a set, then Manhattan Transfer doing a set, then at the end all 10 voices get together and do several songs at the end together. I seen the show when it first debuted last May at the Keswick Theater, and it was excellent. It was very, very good. They were just getting it started, so they worked on a lot of different things since then. So
Yeah, that's great. Michael Lington's going to be there.
yes, with Taylor Dane as a special guest.
Yes.
Yeah. What's her classic song, I Always Love You?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right,
that's
because
it.
I remember that from radio
Michael's
days.
done some shows with her, so we put it together, and it's a double bill opening. That show will be Brian Bromberg Band, and he has a new record coming out, and the Berks Jazz Fest, Berks Horns will be working with Bromberg's band. So that's going to be a very interesting afternoon of music, a full afternoon of music, 2 full shows.
I love the diversity of the music that you put together because you're bringing in 480 East as well. And they're Canada-based.
Right.
And they're coming in Matt Marshak and Art Sherrod, right?
Yeah, there's Saturday, April the 2nd, I think at 7:30 at Building 24 Live.
Yep, I think you have this all memorized, don't you?
That's pretty good, John.
Yeah. And it's always great
The sad part is I could probably recite that.
That's good. Bringing back the fantastic vocals of Phil Perry, and this time with Howard Hewitt, too.
Yes. Yeah, Phil has always been part of the festival many times, but he's always been like a special guest with someone. So I've been talking to him. I said, why don't you do a show that it be your show and you have special guests? So we did that this year, and he invited Howard Hewitt, great R&B singer, soul singer, and so they're going to do a show on. That's April 2nd at 10 o'clock, yes.
That sounds wonderful. And there's also stuff that's going on during the week, too. There's some exciting things. I mean, you bring in some of the high school all-star jazz
Right,
players,
we have
too.
the high school. During the week, we have 4 military band performances that are free to the community. All they have to do is get the free tickets, but are distributed at numerous places. We have the U.S. Navy Band Commodores coming in for Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the Air Force Rhythm and Blue Jazz Ensemble, they're coming in Wednesday night and Thursday evening to do free concerts for the community. And the High School All-Star Band and the High School All-Star Jazz Chorus are part of those performances opening up. So.
What's one of the most enjoyable things for you, Gerald, at this festival since you've been here for years?
That's a great question. For me, I love sometimes when I don't have to perform and I can go see great artists that I admire. When I got the chance to see Gregory Porter for the first time in the Miller Center, that was a thrill for me. Raul Madon, I got a chance to see for the first time, and I wasn't performing with him. I think he was at the Crowne Plaza. It was 2 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, 2 years.
So I look forward to those. Just as a fan, I got a chance to introduce last year Billy Cobham, who was one of my heroes from when I was a guy just starting off playing music, and to get a chance to meet him and see what a wonderful musician he still is. And so even though I'm involved as a performer, I'm just as much enjoying the musical artists themselves as a fan would. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we're going to put the website up on the screen. You can find out many things, how to get tickets, more about the artist. We're also doing some podcasts and some other interesting pieces there too, so you can really get up close and personal with these artists as well. There's so much going on, and you covered the jazz, the smooth jazz, and you also bring in a lot of blues too.
Oh, yes.
And it takes a lot of volunteers for this, doesn't it, John?
Oh, yes. We have somewhere between 300 and 400 volunteers who help make this happen. Our production team is over 100 volunteers. Wow. And then what we call our front of house, the ushers, people who do surveys, sell merchandise, et cetera, et cetera. There's over 200 of those. So it's an army, and it's to me, that's one of the highlights of the whole event, is that we have this group of people, many of whom have been back every year. It's like a family, and everybody looks forward to it, and they give up their time, their talents, and we couldn't do it without the volunteers. I mean, you could never afford to pay that kind of, for all that labor and love that they provide. So, yeah, and the artists pick up on that too, because we hear from the artists who say they love coming here because they get treated well. And the volunteers are so gracious to them, the people who pick them up there. But we have volunteers who make round trips to the Philadelphia airport. You know, we do about 80, 90 round trips in 10 days, picking up and taking artists to the airport. So they're, artists are tired, so we really instill let's be nice to the artists. You know?
That's a really good thing. Yeah. We're going to take a brief pause. We've got so many other artists to tell you about, so stay with us. Welcome back to Behind the Lines. We're talking about the 26th annual Boscov's Berks Jazz Fest. It's April 1 through 10, happening in Reading, Pennsylvania. There's so much going on. And back with Gerald and John, we're going to talk about some more of those artists coming in. One of those is Friday, April 8th, 7 p.m., an evening with Mavis Staples. This is at the Scottish Rite Cathedral.
Yes, we're very much looking forward to that. Mavis is obviously a legendary, iconic voice in music, presence. You know, she was Staples singers with her father and her sisters, and she just turned 76. Wow. She's up for a Grammy. She's also going to be featured. HBO is premiering a documentary called Mavis on Monday, February 29th. It's going to air. The documentary was obviously done by a filmmaker who took it to a lot of film festivals, and it was well received and got several awards. And HBO bought the rights to air the program. So that's on Monday, February 29th on HBO. So I'm looking forward to that. So, and Mavis is. We also have Amy Helm and her band opening for Mavis. Amy is the daughter of the legendary LaVon Helm from the band. So it's kind of a really unique night of music, and we're very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. And that's going on at 7. At 10 o'clock that night, Gerald, tell us more about your brother from another mother, as you say, Nick Coleone's show, his Jazz Meets James. That's going on at 10 o'clock at the Crowne Plaza Reading Ballroom.
Well, you know, one thing about Nick Coleone, he's a fantastic guitar player and a great entertainer. And so for that night, he's honoring one of the greatest entertainers of all time, James Brown. And he's got an all-star cast, and he's just fantastic. A high-energy show. That's for sure.
Yeah, I know when I spoke to him, he was really excited about this because it's going to be one of those things that people are going to be moving and grooving to as well. Yeah,
there's a lot of buzz about that show. So ticket sales have been good, and I have a feeling Gerald might get himself invited on that one.
He sometimes does that, doesn't he?
Worm my way into things.
On Saturday.
We like to keep Gerald busy when he's at the
festival.
Right,
so. Lest he can get into trouble.
He's actually our official, he's like an ambassador to the festival, but he's our musical host. I mean, for the festival, and he's been a great partner in everything we've done. So
I appreciate being a part of it too. For all the reasons we already mentioned, like the great volunteers, the programming, how you take care of the musicians. And I've had the opportunity to travel to a number of festivals around the world, and it's no exaggeration to say this is among the very best festivals in the world. And it's a treasure right here in our neck of the woods.
It is a treasure, and people come from literally all over the world too to attend it.
Absolutely, yeah.
People plan their vacations around it.
We have people come from Australia, Holland this year, Switzerland. Someone come from Italy. We just spoke from this person from Australia who was trying to get these certain tickets, and we took care of them. So
How many people usually attend the festival, John? What are the numbers?
With counting the ticketed events, and it's hard to say because there's so many free community events. So we use the number around 40,000 people come to the festival throughout the 10 days.
Yeah,
So,
that's really does a lot for the community
oh,
as
absolutely.
well.
Has a major economic impact on the community.
Definitely. One of the groups that I really enjoy hearing too, Saturday, the Rippingtons are going to be there. Russ Freeman.
Yes, yeah, Russ and the Rips will be here on Saturday, April 9th. It's a 1:30 show at the Crown Plaza. And opening for them is Jakeem Joyner and Selena Albright. The Rippingtons haven't been here in a couple of years, and every time they come, people come out to see them. It's one of those iconic bands that, you know, from the heyday of contemporary jazz, that they still have a strong fan base who want to see that style of music.
And since you have this all memorized, why don't you tell us what's happening that night at 7 o'clock? There are a few different artists.
Saturday night, 7 o'clock. Well, this is the first year we're doing simultaneous shows at 7 o'clock time frame because of the addition of the DoubleTree.
Yes.
So we had to come up with a plan to do, and then the Scottish Rite. So we had to book counter programming. So at the Scottish Rite, we have Chick Corea and Bela Fleck doing their duo show, and at the DoubleTree, we have well, you're catching me now, Boney James.
That's it. Yeah, you're
Good job.
Good. Boney
yeah.
James.
Uh-huh.
So that's the first time we're doing it. And then Friday night we have Mavis Staples at the Scottish Rite, and we have BWB with Rick Braun, Norman Brown, and Kirk Whalum at the DoubleTree. So this is a new area for us. So you know, see if we can attract different styles of fans of different styles of music and come at the same time. So.
Well, something you've been doing now for several years on Sunday night, the big show, Gospel According to Jazz. How many years has it been now?
This is the fourth
Fourth.
year.
Gerald, tell us more about that show.
Yeah. Kirk Whalum is really a visionary with this whole idea of combining jazz and gospel. He won a Grammy Award, I guess it was last year, based on his Gospel According to Jazz 3. Then I had the pleasure of performing on his Gospel According to Jazz 4 DVD and CD project. So this will be the latest incarnation of that project, and it's going to include the great Donnie McClurkin, who is one of the world's leading gospel artists. And it's always a spirit-filled evening, a lot of energy, and some of the greatest compositions, and always enjoy being a part of it. I always invite myself to be a part. Kirk, if you're watching, this is your warning.
The first year we did it to this scope, we did it with Donnie McClurkin and Jonathan Butler, with Kirk and his band, and it was one of the most amazing nights. There's a few amazing events during the history of this festival that you've been involved with, and you walk out there, you go, I mean, it just hits you. It's just something special. And that night it was really, I mean, it was such a vibe in there with the audience, and the choir, and Donnie, and it was great. So we reprised that this year. We did different. It's been great every year. So we wanted to go back and try to recreate that, the event that we did 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So.
There's something magical, I think, about all of these shows because there's such a great relationship with the artists and with the audience and everybody that kind of circulates and talks to each other and hangs out. I mean, it's really it's a jazz fest, but it's also in many ways a love fest too.
Yeah.
I really think it is.
I think some of that has to do with the accessibility of the artists too, because they're often staying in the same, they're staying in the same hotels where a lot of the fans who are staying overnight, so they get the chance to see them at breakfast or at lunch, and the artists are really engaged with the audience, and I think that's one of the things that makes it unique too.
Yeah, I think so too. You brought up Jonathan Butler. He's going to be with Gerald Albright on that last Saturday.
Saturday the 9th at 10 o'clock at Crown Plaza. Yes, yeah.
That's a great combination.
Yeah, they're doing some shows together, so it was perfect to book that so that Jonathan could stay over and do the gospel show on Sunday.
Yeah. What's one of the best things for you with this festival, John? I know it's a lot on you with organizing, but boy, you've been doing this a long time.
I just enjoy the family of friends that we created. I've created. I mean, I got to know so many great people. I mean, Gerald. I remember the first time I met Gerald. He was there with Reverie the second year.
That's right.
Playing at the Holiday Inn on Fifth Street Highway. You know? And but it's just getting to know. developing relationships with all these people, and everybody wants to work together with us to do certain things that we do. That's what I enjoy. The friendships with the volunteers, and it's like a whole new family of friends that you have been developed through this. And putting it together. I enjoy brainstorming and putting it together and come up with the ideas on that. And hopefully I'm not needed that much once it starts. That's my goal, not to be needed when it starts, So, and we have great people like Gary Spencer coordinates all the production, the Berks Arts Council with Karen Haber, the executive director, and Nan Reinhardt and Christian Sullivan. That's the backbone of this event. I mean, they do all the heavy lifting behind the scenes, and so they coordinate all the volunteers. I mean, Gary coordinates all the production, advances every show, talks to all the artists, finds out what amps they need, and so it's a big production. It's a lot of it's bigger than some days. Gary and I will sit down and say, "Why are we doing this? This is crazy."
For the love of it.
But it all comes together, and everybody rolls up their sleeves and makes sure that the artists have a great time, the fans have a good time. And if that happens, you can't go wrong.
That's right. We're going to take a brief pause. When we come back, we've got some final thoughts. Stay with us. We've been talking about the Berks Jazz Fest coming up April 1 through 10. Some final thoughts, Gerald.
Well, the festival is such a well-known entity. I often find that there are folks who know about the festival who still haven't been to the festival. And the best way to experience this music is live and in person. And once you come, be careful because you'll be hooked. But I really would encourage anyone watching this, if you just heard about the festival and you hadn't had a chance to actually attend, this would be a great year because there's so many great artists.
Yes. John?
I like to echo that because so many people listen to CDs and they say to me, listen to that. I said, don't ever judge an artist by a CD. Go see them live because the live performance is so over the top compared to what the restrictions of doing a CD. And experiencing this music live is very contagious, and I think people have a great time, and I encourage people to come out and just give it a shot.
Yeah, we're going to put the website up on the screen once again, and I applaud both of your efforts. I mean, the energy, the excitement, the artist, and the shows that we see that are so unique to this festival. You've got to come out and see these combinations and become a part of the Berks Jazz Fest family, because we are family.
That's what we always feel.
Yeah, that's right, and it's great to be involved. Thanks so much for being here today, and I can't wait. And thank you for joining us, too. I'm Diane Dayton with Behind the Lines, and remember, keep looking behind the lines, and you might be surprised what you find.